Okay, so I'm the MC for the evening, and I'd like to introduce Debra McGonegal, and sorry if I didn't say that correctly. She has a very extensive career, and I'm just going to highlight a few of those things. She has 30 years of a development professional with business management, marketing expertise. She left the corporate world to work with the nonprofits. She helped raise $2 million for arts scholarship at the University of Waterloo and $6 million in grants for Community Center for Healthy Communities, which also was for the Alzheimer's Association of Kitchener-Waterloo. She's been with the Scarborough Center for Healthy Communities for 3 years, and she said it was the most rewarding experience of her career. She leads a management team. She has like 400 volunteers to help, 25 students, a very small team, but they lead a very big and diverse group of people. And the impact of SCHC programs and services is felt daily by rationalized and marginalized members of Scarborough Community and Healthy Services. I feel privileged to have a small role in keeping those programs and funded as substantial. This is what Debra had to say. So let's all put our hands together and clap for Debra.
Thank you, Angela. And the beginning, I think people didn't understand. It was 30 years. I wish I could only say 3 because I'm not that old, not that young.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I have to be honest, right? Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen, and if everybody can let me know when you see this. Okay. Da, da, da.
It's always fun to watch people when they set up the shared screen, worried about whether or not they can beat technology.
Okay, so can everybody see this?
Yeah, but
you're on page 2 though.
Maximize it.
There we go. I'm gonna maximize it. Okay, so I will not be able to see you. Well, I can actually. You guys are in the corner there. But if you do want to have questions throughout, let me know. So I'm here today. Thank you, Angela, for the introduction. I'm the Director of Communication and Development, and I've also brought along my team member, Lori Beasley. She is the Coordinator of Volunteer Engagement and Student Placements. I figured it was great to put a name to the face, so she'll give us a little bit of an overview of the volunteer program for SCHC. How many people are familiar? I know, Gerard, you mentioned about the food bank. Okay, so a few people know who we are. Good, that's always good to know. We've said we were the best kept secret, and we don't like that as a nomer. So we've been around a long time. We were originally founded in 1977 as West Hill Community Services, which was formed by a community of active women who said, you know what, we need more programs and services for our seniors, for health and social needs. So that's what it started out with the Pine Tree Active Living Center. Now we have over 40 programs spanning from social services and support, senior services, primary health care, hospice palliative care, community health and wellness. We've certainly grown and been seen as a leader in community health in Scarborough over the last 2 years. We have been drawn on our skills as system leader for filling service gaps in Scarborough. So we now have some mental health and addiction services programs, our domestic violence counseling, ABI, which stands for acquired brain injury, and interdisciplinary primary care team. And those support all of the family physicians in Scarborough. We are one of the 30 partners in the approved Scarborough, Ontario Health Team. We've been extremely active over the past 2 years with our COVID response and been the lead in the Equity Action Plan and High Priority Need programs in Scarborough, and currently very active with the vaccine engagement in the City of Toronto plan and also with the Public Health Agency of Canada. Our values are I care. So I standing for inclusiveness, C, community engagement, A, accountability, R, respect, and E for equity. We pride ourselves on having exemplary standing with Accreditation Canada, something which a lot of community health organizations don't have. Has been very common in hospital settings, long-term care, but now, of course, community health agencies are also looking to get that kind of certification. Our overall mission is to meet the diverse holistic health needs of the communities of Scarborough by addressing all of the social determinants of health. So that includes physical, mental, social, financial, and environmental aspects. Through the promotion of healthy lifestyles and the delivery of a comprehensive range of culturally competent health and social services, we cultivate healthy and vital communities and connected. We have obviously a strategic plan. We look at that every 3 years. So we're coming up to renewing this, but the last 3 years, our strategic priorities and goals have focused on integrated mental health and addictions to improve access to and strengthen coordinated evidence-informed and community-based health and addiction programming, improving health and community systems connections. So that's also part of the goals of the Ontario Health Teams, is to integrate everything so that it makes a much smoother continuum of care. Also, organizational health and well-being. Of course, that's definitely been a big part of our focus over the last year with our anti-Black racism program that we're rolling out, and making sure that we have equitable health within our organization, as well as in Scarborough with our programs and services. Majority of our revenues are from the Ministry of Health, which used to be, and will now be called something different, used to be the Central East Local Health Integration Network. But we also get funding from the United Way for our social support programs. We've had lots of really great grants recently. And we're steadily building up a donation base, small but mighty, as I call my team as well. Also City of Toronto, which focuses on a lot of local programs. Now, I would imagine most of you have a pretty good idea of Scarborough and its demographics and what makes up Scarborough. So I'm going to really quickly go through this. That 53% of Scarborough residents have other tongues as their native language. We have 73% are visible minorities. Majority of these are experiencing health inequities, racialization, marginalization. 60% of the population are first-generation immigrants, and the top 5 countries of origin are China, Philippines, India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. We have not done a profile recently of how many different countries of origin there are in Scarborough, but it is immense, and the languages spoken is crazy. We've really found out a lot more with this vaccine engagement program. And the significant shift in income over the last 30 years. We have 26% of all of the neighborhood improvement areas that are allocated to Toronto, which was a Toronto strategy to try and improve neighborhoods and focus on those. So we obviously have a higher at-risk population. In the 2016 stats, seniors account for 17% of the population. So this is obviously an ongoing concern because seniors require more complex care. There's caregiver stress, palliative hospice programs, dementia programs, and of course the social isolation. So this is something that Scarborough has not been at the top of the list. Well, there's many other things, but this is one of the areas that we really have to try and focus on over the next little while. Home ownership is certainly high, but that also goes with the fact that there is a large number of people living in those homes. So we have over 50% have 3 or more people living together, and many are 5+ people to a home, and that's only what's actually actually said or put out on the surveys and censuses. We talked about the neighborhood improvement areas. There's 23 Toronto Community Housing Corporation developments in Scarborough, and we are located, some of our services are located in 4 of those complexes. There's also a large homeless, undocumented, uninsured population, and that's really come to light through the pandemic. The number of working adults is about 53% of the adult population. So obviously there's significant unemployment. We're talking about a high incidence of illness and chronic disease. Mental health and addictions go along with that. We've had self-reporting of the challenges are on the rise in Ontario generally. So this is obviously something that we look at. Surrounding neighborhoods for SCHC like Morningside and West Hill have the highest and second highest rates of emergency department utilization and inpatient mental health and addictions rates. Sure, most of you have seen this slide, and to me, just looking at this visually really tells the story of how things have changed for Scarborough in terms of the poverty level. So, quick overview of the many programs we have, because I think this is where a lot of people are surprised. Our primary care, so our community health centers, we normally have 3 of those open, and we have 2 right now. One of them is being used as the vaccine clinic at the hub. We have a complete range of hospice, palliative care, and bereavement programs. Our health and wellness team, which is called our health promotion team, they focus on the health and wellness, so cooking, nutrition, isolation programs to try and keep everyone healthy. We have a very extensive diabetes education prevention program, and FYI, diabetes is definitely on the rise, and it predominantly is a disease that occurs in the Black population. So that is one of the reasons that we're seeing more of a rise in Scarborough. With the pandemic, sexual assault and domestic violence, our care team has been stretched to the max. We have a very long wait list right now. As I mentioned, the interprofessional primary care team has everything from occupational therapists, physical therapists, chiropodists, professionals and specialists that other family care physicians can utilize. And they try and keep that continuum of care, like I mentioned before. So you got to throw pictures in here because they tell 1,000 words. So this is one of our community care clinics. This is actually the one at 629 Markham, which is our head office. For our community support services, we get very much engaged in our neighborhoods. We have community kitchens that are utilized and available to other grassroots groups. One at the hub, we have the food bank kitchen, so they'll do hot meals as well. The Early On Child and Family Resource Center. We have youth engagement programs, so youth entrepreneurship opportunity program and a youth leadership group that are very, very active in the Eglinton East Kennedy Park area. And of course, our food, furniture, and clothing banks. So those are some of the pictures. This one over on the left is the Early On Center. Primary focus has always been seniors, caregiver, and wellness. So we have an adult day program, which is for individuals with dementia, so that their caregivers can get a break as well. Active Living Center, which is for 55 plus healthy and wellness, as everything from Zumba to Hawaiian dancing, art, and various other programs. Meals on Wheels, friendly visitor program. We have the assisted caregiver and support services. We also do home help, home maintenance. So we'll do lawn mowing in the summer and shoveling snow in the winter. Our Scarborough Transportation Service has been extremely active with trying to get people to the vaccine clinics lately, and helping those who otherwise have barriers to getting to medical appointments, etc. Personal support workers, as I mentioned, they've been working out there since day one. So here's some of our active living center on the right, and one of our lovely ladies in our adult day program on the left doing a craft. She just has such a wonderful smile. We've also done a lot in the last little while in terms of partnerships and collaborations. So along with our strategic goal for mental health and addictions, we've set up what we call the Lawrence East Partnership Program. That's in partnership with Fred Victor and CODA. And that's directly in the TCHC buildings at Lawrence Park and Morningside. We have the Acquired Brain Injury Outreach, which is in partnership with CODA. We also have a specialized early onset dementia day program. So that's for those younger than 65. And that's in partnership with the Alzheimer's Society of Toronto. And the Community Reintegration Initiative is in partnership with the Scarborough Health Network, where complex care patients are, they get a soft handover, not a cold one, not a call this place. So we know exactly what's going on with those individuals when they leave the hospital. This is our mood walks on the left, our early on center, and that's our youth, what they call Mind and Spirit Youth Leadership Program. They had a pool noodle Olympics. I thought it was actually going to be in a pool, but no, it's just, they're just trying to beat each other with pool noodles. Nice and safe. We have over 250 culturally diverse staff. Amongst those, they talk 25 different languages. We have over 400 core volunteers. Currently, there's about 200 active because, of course, we scaled back because of the pandemic. But we also have many more that don't count because we get them through school placements, corporations, one-day events, and, of course, churches and other organizations. So that's one of our teams that came in on a regular basis. I'm looking at my watch, and I'm going to skip through our actual client demographics because it basically represents the Scarborough community. So you know, I don't really need to go into that data, but I don't know if Gerard will send this out to people afterwards. You're more than welcome to look through that and see. This also reflects all the different ethnicities that we serve. And I'm going to turn over to Laurie, and she's going to talk a little bit about the volunteers.
Thank you, Debra. If you want to go to if you can go to the next one. So this was a slide that just showed the breakdown of the different volunteers and the programs. As Debra said, we're not as active right now. Normally, out of the 40 programs, about 25 plus use volunteers on a regular basis. So that's why having the volunteers is so important and crucial to the success of SCHC. So the two programs that have been running ongoing throughout the entire pandemic are both our Meals on Wheels program and our food bank program. So initially last March, we had to put our volunteers on hold initially, and we were able to bring back some of them in August. But so staff were redeployed to do Meals on Wheels in the food bank. But since last August, we've had the programs running with the volunteers back in Meals on Wheels in the food bank and the early on center. We have other volunteer opportunities, both in friendly visiting, hospice, day program, and bereavement. And those programs ran virtually the entire time. During the entire pandemic, those programs ran as well. And it was hats off to the staff who were able to pivot and make that work virtually. We also have other volunteer opportunities in our adult day and senior health promotion programs, administrative assistant, tutoring and homework club. That's for people helping out at the hub after school. That program did not run last year, but we're hoping that it'll run at some point this year. As Debra said, the Lawrence East Partnership Program, which is for individuals interested in volunteering in a more mental health harm reduction setting. And then summer camp ran on a very small base this year. And then occasional volunteers, we need them for things like holiday help, fundraising, special events, finance and IT, the volunteer department, and other special projects. So that picture there is a group from a fundraising event we held a few years ago called the Quest through Scarborough. And it was like the Great Canadian Race. But we had people racing through different places in Scarborough and doing silly things and collecting things along the way. So if anyone is interested in becoming a volunteer, I hold a volunteer session once a month. I'm holding one on the 15th, and they're 90 minutes long, and I go into more details about what it takes to become a volunteer with us. And if anyone's interested, I would love anybody, especially Meals on Wheels is 2 hours once a week from 11:30 to 1:30, and there is an urgent need for Meals on Wheels drivers. So if anyone's looking to give up 2 hours a week, I would love to talk to you.
Thanks. I had to make sure Lori was able to get her plug in there.
Yeah, thank you.
There is a really urgent need, and this woman works really, really hard. And of course, you connect with us on our website or through any of our social media channels. Please, we welcome everybody to follow us and share and spread the good news about what there is available in Scarborough, because unfortunately, a lot of people don't always know. So
I'd like to thank you, Debra and Lori, for your presentation. It really gives us a good overview of what your organization does. I encourage anybody who has questions, if you could put it in the chat. And at the end of the session, we will go to questions. Okay, we'll make an exception for Larry because he's the president. Yes, Larry.
Thanks, Angela. It's not really a question. It's just a shout out and a thank you to SCSC. As some of you will know, the City of Toronto is going through an official plan review over the next year. And the city invited the Scarborough Community Renewal Organization through me to be part of what they call the Community Leaders Circle to help facilitate the community consultations for that. But there was a real shortage of Scarborough-based organizations on this Community Leaders Circle. So at my urging, I encouraged the city and the firm that's leading the community consultation process to reach out to SCHC, because I knew that you folks would bring an important Scarborough-centric perspective to this discussion. And I'm really pleased that Jeannie Argyropoulos, I probably butchered Jeannie's last name, is going to be part of that community leaders circle with me and with 3 other leaders of Scarborough organizations, so that Scarborough will have a substantial voice at the table as we embark on that process, probably in the next month or 2. So it's really great to have an organization like SCHC, which to have an organization of such critical mass with a community-based health focus in Scarborough is not something that other parts of Toronto have. We're lucky to have that, and I'm really pleased that SCHC is going to be able to participate with SCRO in an important activity over the course of the next year.
We appreciate the
sorry, Angela, I just wanted to get that in.
That's okay. We appreciate the invitation. Yeah. And Jeannie's very passionate about helping Scarborough. So anything we can do.
I'm just going to interrupt with one question, in that I know a lot of people want the answer to it. Is there any thoughts or a plan to open the clothing bank soon? There's a lot of people who've been storing a lot of clothing that we want to share.
It actually came to the attention of Paul Ainsley that the Toronto community housing people decided that they wanted that space back about 1.5 years ago. And that's when the clothing bank closed. They did not use that space all through the pandemic. So we have got Mr. Ainsley going to bat, has contacted the correct people So I'm pretty positive with that influence, we should
Okay,
have
we'll-
that
we'll
up and
just-
running
we'll-
soon.
We'll continue to store and wait. Thanks,
Yes,
Debra.
okay.
Back to you, Angela. No, you gotta turn it on.
Just got to realize that. And now I'd like to welcome Marta Keller-Hernandez who is going to be speaking for us. She's originally from Spain, is an art administrator, who moved into Toronto in 2012. She holds degrees in tourism, humanities, a master's in social media marketing from the University of Alicante, Spain, and became an international student of the Culture of Heritage Site Management Program at Centennial College in 2013. In Toronto, Marta has worked with a wide range of arts and cultural organizations such as Black Artists, Network Dialogues, Latin American Canadian art programs, projects, Sir Gallagher Heritage Toronto, and Art Status. Currently, she's managing the director of Mural's Roots. Marta is a co-founder and director of programming of Paralia Newcomer Arts Network, a Toronto-based nonprofit that supports newcomers artists by providing them with the skills and resources needed to establish an artist presence in Canada. She is also the recipient of a 2012 Newcomer and Heritage Artist Mentorship Grant from the Toronto Arts. I'm really glad that I got my COVID voice back, because I don't think I would have been able to read all that. And the topic of today is called the Public Murals Arts Projects in Scarborough, Past, Present, and Future. So let's welcome Marta Keller-Hernandez.
Thank you so much, Angela. Thank you so much for having me today. It's going to be difficult to match the presentation done by Debra. Like, that's a very impressive work that they do.
Sorry, Marta, can I just stop for 1 second? I just asked nobody interrupt Marta like I just did. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat and we will address it at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. What a great MC. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okie dokie. So let me share my screen. 1 sec. Technology. Oh, 1 sec. So share my screen. Gonna do screen.
Really great when it works.
Yeah. So do you see the whole screen? Like, can you see everything or just the slides?
No, we're seeing the bar on the side too. So
Okay, so
you
give
wanna
me
go to
1 sec then. Yeah.
slideshow, full screen.
New share. No, this is what I want to do. But now I want to do this. Can you see that now?
You
Yep.
got it. It's fine. Great.
Yay. Okay, this is the first time that I'm doing PowerPoint. I usually do PDF. So, okay, good to know. Something that I learned today. Well, as I was saying, like, thank you so much for having me. I'm pretty sure that many of you are familiar with Mural Roots, maybe not under my direction, let's put it that way. My predecessor in the role, Karen Eden, was a person that was very, very much involved with everything Scarborough. So it's been an extremely great honor to take it from her in her retirement and continue the work the amazing work that Mural Roots has done over the past 25 years. So very quickly, for those of you who don't know about Mural Roots, this is actually our mission and vision statement, which were sort of like reworked earlier this year. We activate communities by facilitating the creation of responsive collaborative murals. And the one thing that I think we do best is we provide opportunities to build and advance careers in mural art. We offer a number of programs for those who want to build a career in mural art. So that's something that's sort of like embedded in the work that we do. Our vision is actually to be a resource for anybody who is, like looking to produce a mural, learn about mural art, or just like become a mural artist. Let's see. We do, as I said, like a number of things. We obviously create murals for sure. Usually what we call community engaged public art. That really what it means is we don't just show up and paint. We always work with local communities in order to produce the artworks that we produce. So we like to put like multiple, sort of like community engagement activities in place for the local communities to participate in the mural project altogether. We also advise, so we do consulting, we do project management as well for some larger mural projects. As I was saying, we educate. We have the Mural Art Learning Institute, which is comprised of a number of programs that I will touch on in a second. We also provide online resources on our website. For example, if you need to figure out how to paint a mural on aluminum dye bond panels, we have a resource for that on our website. So those types of resources. And then we also have networking events and a pretty strong website and social media presence. So these are these are the individuals that we serve, but also how we serve them. So for example, we have community members at large. We offer our introduction to mural art program, which is like a 6 workshop program where those who have never touched a brush like myself before can actually learn some art skills. We also serve the youth and emerging artists and art administrators. We run what I usually call our flagship program, the Mural Art Career Development Program, which is the program that I would encourage emerging artists to take if they were willing to build a career in mural art. And then we also serve artists and arts professionals, the more established ones, by offering one-off workshops in different topics. Those are our Wall Art Learning Series, and then our National Mural Symposium, which will actually be taking place later in November this year, virtually for the first time. But yeah, like an opportunity to talk about trends and challenges in the field of mural art. And all that leads to mural production. So as I was saying, it's not that we just produce for the sake of producing, like all these different people are being served while we produce murals, and they're being engaged in one way or another. So now let's talk about the past. And past is in the quotes because it's not really past, it's still present because the murals that I'm going to show are still around. Mural roots really started with the Heritage Trail. The very first mural that Mural Roots ever painted was actually the Halfway House, which is right here below. That actually happened when Mural Roots was not even an incorporated organization. We were sort of like a branch or like an arm of the Scarborough Arts Council. And this was the very first mural that was produced. The idea behind the Heritage Trail was actually to create different trails. This was heritage-based, so like historic events that took place in Scarborough, and just a way of celebrating them. But they had also envisioned a nature trail that would celebrate local nature. And I think there was one more trail they had in mind, and that's where the Mural Roots name actually comes from, like from envisioning those different routes. However, those never happened. The Heritage Trail was actually the only one that happened. So for about 10 to 15 years, Mural Roots produced a number of murals along Kingston Road. The mural above is also another one of them. And both murals have actually been restored recently, I believe in 2017, 2016, by Blink Studios, because obviously 25 years later, they do fade a little bit. So yeah, it was decided that like some maintenance was definitely needed. Then the Birchcliff murals, also Mural Roots has been known for these murals. These are a little bit more recent, more in the 2000s. And it's interesting because Mural Roots decided to incorporate educational programs in the early 2000s. And all these murals are sort of like a product of that. These two murals that we're looking at right now were actually produced by lead artists in partnership or in collaboration with assistant artists who were youth and who contributed to painting or producing the murals. The one on the right, the giant birch tree, is actually a mural on panels that were painted in our home office at 1859 Kingston Road and then installed on the wall. So working on panels usually allows for youth to work together because they don't need to jump on a scissor lift. They just can produce, like on the ground, and then it gets installed. So the ones along Birchcliff, I think they all have the common theme of birch trees. But they also have, they're also like looking at celebrating the nature of the area. So we have like the heritage and now the nature. And then the youth projects that Mural Roots is also quite known for, very much celebrating nature as well. So these are just like two examples where, again, lead artists led projects and engaged a number of emerging youth artists in producing the murals. Now the present. I'm looking at the present in a way that in terms of like the topics that we're addressing now and how we envision we're going to be moving forward. I'm going to be very honest, I was actually looking at like the different murals that have been produced in Scarborough, like not just by Mural Roots, like in general, but like the vast majority were actually produced by Mural Roots. So I felt a little bit weird about like just talking about the work that we've done, but we have such a strong presence in the area that I think these murals are actually like sort of like paving a path for other organizations to follow. Legacy in Motion was actually a project that was funded by Street Art Toronto, as well as the City of Toronto Cultural Hotspot program. And this was actually a youth project. But the important thing is that we worked in partnership with the Chinese Cultural Center of the Greater Toronto to sort of like include topics that were relevant to that community. So, for example, what you see on the pictures are actually birds that are flying, and they're bringing the different arts across the world. And based on what I know about the project, because I was still not like this was the last project of Karen Eden. Based on what I know about the project, this is actually how the Chinese culture sees the arts and how it was like transferred across the world. So we were extremely mindful and really wanted to, like sort of like create a space for the Chinese community to have a say over what was going to go on the mural, and sort of like to share that piece of the culture with the larger community. In my conversations with the Chinese Cultural Center staff, they are like super super thankful and grateful for this project, because this is like the first thing they show everyone that goes to visit their space, their facility. So it was important for Mural Roots to, you know, be mindful of the different communities that form Scarborough, and being able to create that space for them to have a say and showcase their culture. I was actually thinking about when Debra was going through the demographics of Scarborough, I was like, this is actually like how we're evolving so that we can actually serve the various people that form Scarborough, that live in Scarborough. Then we have Interrogale. This was actually produced in 2019, again through or with a Street Art Toronto Partnership Grant. And for this project, we actually worked with Yvonne Blake. He also goes by Media. This is an underpass in Malvern. And the topic of this, by the way, Media is a Black artist from Scarborough. So we also wanted to work with artists who are residents of Scarborough. So for this mural, Media wanted to bring up the issue of environmental issues in general. So this is following his style, and you know, like very, very contemporary, and like based on or rooted in the graffiti art that he sort of like drinks from, like that he has evolved from. So we work with Jennifer McKelvey, with Councillor Jennifer McKelvey on this mural, because environmental issues are something that are very important to her. So it felt like the right theme to address for this specific mural. I'm going quite quick through this, but we can have questions afterwards. I'm just like, I want to get to the future so that we can sort of like open a conversation, but also happy to answer any questions about these murals. So then we have In Our Nature. This is the event I was talking about that we're going to be having on Saturday at the Toronto Zoo. So In Our Nature is actually, it's again a City of Toronto cultural hotspot signature project. And this is a new thing for us, because it's actually not going to be on a wall. These are going to be mobile panels, so what we call mural panel installations that potentially could travel across the city. So Mural Roots has never done anything like this before, so we're really willing to test it out. We're working with the EWOC project, which stands for Equity for Women of Color. The lead artist is Shafia Shaikh, but she would rather go by the EWOC project. And we're also working with Sarah, Claire, and Connie on producing these 5 panels, these 5 murals that have actually like just been installed at the zoo, and that we will be unveiling on Saturday. So this is just the picture down below. It's actually a sneak peek of the panels, because we were not sharing any of the pictures of them installed yet. So this is all I can say for now. Yeah, it's a great project. This project is actually celebrating women of color in Scarborough who are doing community work. So again, this we got together 3 different partners, the Toronto Zoo, Mural Roots, and the Community Arts Guild, and we wanted to do something together, but we weren't sure what we wanted to do. So we reached out to Shafia, and she said, well, I would really like to celebrate women of color in Scarborough who are doing community work. And we said, let's create a space for that. So we put the grant in, and we're gonna have some musical performances as well. so yeah, like we're really looking forward to, you know, bringing people together in person to actually like celebrate these amazing women in Scarborough. Then we have the upcoming murals. These are actually 2022. One is at the Variety Village. This, we already have secured funding for this one through Street Art Toronto. This is going to be a huge mural that it's sort of like going to wrap the Variety Village building. I'm just realizing that I didn't say where the Variety Village is, but it's at the intersection of Danforth and Kingston Road. So this is like actually across from our office. And it's like super interesting that we have never partnered with them before. So they reached out saying, we have really large walls. What do you think we can do? And we put an application together and got the funding. So this is going to be a project that we're going to be producing for Artworks TO, the Year of Public Art. In 2022, we'll probably do the community consultation over the winter, and then start production as early as we can, because this is a massive project. Interestingly enough, too, we also want to, the theme will be disability, and who's getting to use the building, and who also like whether we can support those with a disability in actually being part of painting the mural. So that's why I'm saying it's going to be a massive project, just because of like all the different pieces. We also want to offer mentorship to disabled artists to learn from a more established mural artist. So as I say, like multiple moving pieces for that one. And then watermarked, this is also as part of the Artworks TO Year of Public Art. And we're hoping to produce this mural along the Ron Messer Trail. So this is actually going to be an asphalt mural on the ground, something that we haven't done before either. So something new for us, but something appealing, I guess, to some artists who are going to be able to engage community members through like stenciling workshops and things like that, while also like painting along the trail. In this case, this is going to be a temporary mural. It needs to go away. If it's really amazing, we'll really try to negotiate with the city and make it stay, but we'll see. This is, I'm not 100% sure that this is a mural that's going to stay beyond 2023. And now the future. Well, this is what's happening right now. There is redevelopment going on in various areas along Kingston Road. So there are a number of murals that are being taken down. For example, the Tudor Birch Grove was actually at Wimpy's along Kingston Road, quite close to our office too, and it's already gone. Like that's like, yeah, all we have now, it's just like the picture. And then the Bluffs, as viewed by Elizabeth Cinco, that one is gonna go soon as well. So we're actually in conversations with the developer to see whether it can be replaced by something else. But I know that there are more murals that will be taken down soon. So I guess the future is like, how do we archive all these artworks that existed at some point? Mural Roots is currently working on developing the mural map of Canada, which is a project that got funding through the Canada Council for the next 3 years. And it's a project that we're working on, not for, not just for or to allow people to add murals to the mural map, but also for us to have a way of archiving everything that's been produced over the years across the country. So a very, very ambitious project, but it's going quite well so far. And actually, if you were to visit the mural map, you would notice that there are like a number of murals that we produce, Mural Roots produced, that are gone, and they're still there, as a way of archiving that work. Then the issue is also we're running out of walls. How many walls are left to paint? should we start repainting some of the murals? That's a conversation that's going on right now, like even with the city, because like murals like the bluffs viewed by Elizabeth Simcoe has been around for like what, 25 years, like 20 years. So is it time to repaint with something else that maybe like represents the community better? Like the community might have evolved over 20 years. So those are questions that are also that are important to the evolution and the future of mural art as a field, at least in Canada. And then representation, like who is on the mural, what is on the mural, and who is painting the mural. Again, as Debra was saying about like who is part of Scarborough, we really want to be mindful of like the different voices being represented, the different aesthetics in the different cultures. So, and the different demographics really. So yeah, it's like, that's something that we're sort of like working on, and we're having conversations at the board level of like what direction we should be following in that way. And that's it. Thank you very much for having me again. Like if there's any questions, please keep in touch. There's like our social media handles there, and my email address in case anybody wants to reach out.
So thank you, Martha. That was a very in-depth presentation. I really have a better appreciation for art. If anyone has a question, you could just unmute yourself and ask directly.
Shall I begin?
Go ahead, Harry.
See if I can lower my hand. Okay, thank you. Thanks for doing that, Marta. You actually didn't include one mural that is near me and that I am particularly impressed with. So I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
Assuming I do this correctly.
You
And
better be on Mural's roots.
and I believe I just did. Let me just get rid of that.
Oh yes, for Union.
This is very cool. For those of us who live in the east end of Scarborough, this is the west wall of a plaza, a retail plaza of the northwest corner of Lawrence and Port Union. And this particular wall overlooks the parking lot of the Port Union Community Center. Mural Roots did this in conjunction with the Centennial Community and Recreation Association about 5 years ago, and it's very well done. This is a huge wall. This must be, I don't know if you can see this, it's I mean, this is from Google Maps, it's hard to do it justice,
Yeah.
but I say it's at least 30 meters. Like it's a long, long wall. And it does a great job showcasing Port Union's history. You know, you talked about the heritage dimension of your work previously, from Indigenous times, settler times, and today. And it's all very seamlessly woven into this long 30-meter wall. It's not sort of divided up at all. It's very well done. And so I'm super impressed with that one, which is probably the closest one to where I live. So let me just unshare, if I can unshare for a minute. How do I do that? Stop share. And just to continue with that train of thought, because you were mentioning about how you're running out of walls, because I'm with the West Rouge Community Association. And when we saw what you guys did there, we thought, wow, that is just so cool. We ought to be able to do the same thing in West Rouge. And then we thought to ourselves, where would we put it? Like, first of all, of course, you have to get consent of the property owner. But even if you could get consent of the property owner, we just don't have blank canvases like that to work with. And I'm thinking, and of course, you've done a great job on Kingston Road taking advantage of those blank canvases. But I know a lot of those sites are going to be the subject of redevelopment in the coming years, and presumably that's what you're facing with some of these. And I don't know if it's possible and the reality is, for better or for worse, a number of these redevelopments are going to be condos along Kingston Road. And I don't know if it's possible as part of the sort of the site plan, the redevelopment application, the approvals that the city provides to enable you to construct a mural on those walls. Now, I know may be more challenging because they may be broken up by windows, which which makes it more difficult. I mean, what we have at Port Union is magnificent because there's hardly any windows at all. But it would be nice if there's a way to, I mean, because these murals do a great job showcasing Scarborough history and Scarborough today. And I'd hate to see that lost. So anyway, I don't know if there's any way, and this may be something that SCRO can take on. And I'm sorry, Gerard, I'll take my cue from the MC. But because I mean, SCRO seeks to protect, preserve, promote, and renew Scarborough, and showcasing Scarborough's heritage is something that we strive to do, and you guys do a great job doing it. And I just don't know if there's a way in which we can help you with that.
Well, thank you, Larry. I have to say that I've been quite amazingly surprised that the city actually reached out saying, hey, the murals are coming down. Here's the contact of the developer, just get in touch. So at least we've been able to know what was going to happen, when, and who was involved. Because with the other one, the one at Wimpy's, that we reached out to the developer, never heard back, the mural's is gone, and there's been like zero investments in terms of art in the community.
Yeah.
With the other one, at least we're able to have that conversation. But in my conversations with the developer, it's also, this is what I want to see on the mural. So now it becomes a commission, not a community engaged mural.
Yeah, it's different.
That's a problem. Also, as you were saying, windows, but also glass. We can't paint on glass.
Yeah.
This is one of the major issues that we faced in North York. There is no walls, like it's all glass. So you have to go with vinyl, but like it's not the same thing. You're not having the artist actually painting on site. So yeah, it is, like there are challenges. Yeah. So what I'm saying is like the city has reached out and like they keep us in mind, which is great. And they're being extremely mindful of that. And that's great. I think the year of public art is definitely like, making everyone think about art that's going to disappear at some point, and like how can that be prevented or at least replaced. Yeah.
Is this something that's only being done in Scarborough, or is it being done in other communities as well?
I'm not sure. I know that it is being done in Scarborough because, I mean, there are different people in charge of different areas in the city. So the person who's in charge of Kingston Road, they did reach out. But for example, I don't know if like the person who's in charge of, I don't know, like maybe like Lawrence and Eglinton or something, like whether they would have reached out. I don't know.
I saw a mural on Lawrence. I can't remember if it was Lawrence close to Markham. It's like on an apartment building. I see it there every time I go to visit my mom.
Is that, I believe it's like a female body and a kid?
Yes.
Yes. That was not produced by Mural Roots, but I do know the artists who produced it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was.
It's a very cool mural.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Yeah. At first I thought it was like graffiti or something. So someone painted it without permission, but I'm like, no. That took a lot, like obviously took a lot of work. So someone would have had to notice if someone was doing that.
Yeah. And it's high too. Like it takes like almost like the whole building. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the first time I was taught it, I was like, wow, like that's really good because those buildings on Lawrence, like some of them are really old. I know that they're reconstructing one of them on it's like Lawrence and Orton Park, and they're redoing the building. And I think hopefully there'll be space on that building for Mural because it's starting to look really good how they're developing it, restructuring it. So it's starting to look really good.
Angela, is that the Susan Street building?
Who?
Yes.
Yes.
At Susan Street, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's very good.
All right. Does anyone else have any more questions?
I will, just on a different topic, Marta. I know that a few months ago, we provided a letter of support for this mosaic making for seniors project. Did anything ever develop from that at all?
So we haven't heard yet. We actually submitted two grant applications. One for the Canada Foundation's, what was the name? Healthy Communities Initiative Program, I think was the name. And we should have heard mid-August. Here we are, September 9, and we haven't heard yet. And then the second one was for the Ministry of Seniors, I think, with the provincial government. And we actually got this grant last year. And that's how the whole program initiated. And also we haven't heard. But last year we heard 2 months before we had to deliver the program. And we really struggled. Yeah, it's like working with the ministry has been, like, I think the right word is a pain. But we were able to deliver the program and it was great. And the seniors were super thankful. So that's all I need. That's all I need to sleep at night. So no, we're still waiting to hear, but it's definitely as part of the project was also creating sort of like a piece of public art that would go either on a park or like some sort of like public space. We were thinking about stepping stones that everybody could produce at home and then create a labyrinth with all that. And then it's like for kids to play. So it's like an intergenerational
nice.
thing as well, you know, produced by seniors for kids to enjoy, like sort of like that connection there. But no, we haven't heard yet.
Okay.
But fingers crossed. Yeah, it was a really great program last year.
We
I
do
said
have
last year, but it was actually like in January, February. So it's actually early this year.
Okay. So Lori posted in the chat, I can confirm that there is some notice in Etobicoke for murals, but not much. So
Can I elaborate
go
on
ahead.
that?
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So just a quick introduction. I'm actually with the cultural hotspot with the City of Toronto. My name's Laura Diaz. I came to find out a little bit more about, also a resident of Scarborough, so interested in that sense as well. But came to find out about what sort of activity was going on with Mural Roots in the future, who's been a fantastic partner with the cultural hotspot. And I can confirm that one of our partners in Etobicoke did receive notice that one of their murals was coming down. So I think it is across the city that they're trying to give organizations more of a heads up instead of simply taking them down.
Oh, this was the one in North Etobicoke. Yeah, we were part of that project too. And
Yeah.
now it's gone. Yeah.
So, but not much of a notice was 1 week.
Yeah. No, yeah. It was like, it's basically like, do whatever you want, it's coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to get a picture, get it now.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have to say though, Lori, like, and I don't think that was the city's fault though, because this was the extension of the LRT along Finch.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I'm not sure whether the city actually knew that it was coming down. You know what I mean? Like they just got notified that we're taking this away, and somebody said, "What about the artwork?" And that's when the conversation started. So I wouldn't blame the city 100%.
Yeah, I do think that there's a bit of a push though to notify anyone that was involved with the projects moving forward, just so that there is more of an appreciation for the amount of time it takes to create everything.
One that's really nice, and I don't think you guys did it, but I quite like it, is the one by the Warden subway station under the bridge that showcases the bomb girls from World War II, from Deco or whatever it's called. It's on the Deco.
It's Scarborough Junction.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it
yeah.
says. Yeah.
That's really well done. I don't know who did it, but I don't know. So I don't know if there's other, whether bridges.
Yep.
I mean, if you're looking for canvases that have a decent size,
Ah,
and if all
Yeah.
these retail plazas are gonna, these strip malls are gonna be torn down over time, which is
Yeah.
sad in some respects. But if you're looking for replacement canvases that are large enough to be able to do a decent sized mural, maybe underpasses
Yeah.
are another opportunity. Certainly whoever did that job on the deco, I mean, that's a great job showcasing Scarborough history. And of course it gets seen a lot because it's a very high profile intersection.
the project was actually project managed by Mural Roots,
Okay.
but the artist was Omen, and it is an outstanding mural.
certainly
Like the
is.
story behind it, the technique. It is really outstanding, for sure. And talking about underpasses, like that is something that we have no control over because the city manages the
Of course.
underpasses.
Yeah.
And they work with counselors
Yes.
on what goes on the underpasses. But I would say that community organizations can reach out to counselors and say, hey, there's this underpass here, and we would like to have a mural about this. And then counselors can work with
let's keep that in mind, because there may even be an opportunity for SCRO working in concert with more local community organizations like CCRA, like Community Centennial, and in the case of the one at Port Union.
Yeah.
There's other community associations like that in other parts of Scarborough, and maybe we can help them with their advocacy to their local councillors to say, hey, there's this great canvas that provides an opportunity to showcase Scarborough heritage. Can you please lend your support to this?
Yep.
So we're happy to do that.
So
Go
I
ahead.
hate to interrupt, but go ahead, Laurie. Go ahead.
Thank you, Angela. Sorry.
I can say 1 more minute for you.
Perfect. To only need 1 minute. I was going to leave my email contact for our group in the chat, because next year we're actually focusing on the Golden Mile area. And so we have meetings coming up with city planning to figure out what areas we could bring artwork into. So I don't know if this is a conversation that maybe we could continue in the future, but our team is really interested in bringing local artists at various funding levels for projects like Mural Roots, but smaller as well, into Golden Mile.
SCRO is very involved in
I was
the
gonna say that.
redevelopment of the Golden Mile. So yes, please,
Perfect.
please involve us, and we will use whatever influence we can.
You took the words out of my mouth, Larry.
Sorry, Angela.
Well, Marta, we'd like to thank you so much for coming and speaking. This is very, even though it's a small group, I've on the our Scarborough that I've really enjoyed. And thank you so much for being here. And I'd like to thank everybody else, Laurie, all the other people from being here as well. And I'd like to remind you that we are always looking for new members of SCRO. So anyone interested, just let us know. We'll be sure to tell you, you can sign up and for sure. And our Scarborough would be September the 30th, but we'll have the Scarborough Philharmonic Orchestra. Thank you. Since I got COVID, my voice is going and sometimes my brain too. So sorry if I stutter a little bit. So just thank you so much for being here. And Gerard, are you supposed to put something on the screen? But he's not here. I think he left. So if there's nothing else anyone has to say or do.
No, he didn't leave. He's back. What was the question again?
Oh, if you wanted to share something on the screen.
Nothing. No, we don't have anything.
Okay. All right, great. Well, thank you all. Laurie, I have a question. Marta, I have a question. Sorry, are you an artist?
Me, myself? No.
Yeah. Oh, what
Nope.
made you get into this?
I
This
love I love the arts and I want to
Okay.
support artists because
I
they
see.
need support in the admin side. So
Uh-huh.
that's why I got into this job.
I think Lori looks like an artist.
A bit of experience, yeah. Come from a long line of family of artists, so.
Yeah. All right, great.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you
Lori.
all. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for having me.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now go make your popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right, okay,
Good night,
everybody.
all. Thank you.